Good evening, everybody. This is part two of our Dynamite review for the 9th of March. We had a little bit of a technical issue last time, but hopefully we're back on now just to finish off our review. So we got last time I was kind of talking about the Jade interview. And then we kind of lost the connection then. So do you want to sort of start off with any comments about the Jade interview there, Russell?
Yeah, I think when we lost the connection last time, I was just saying about Ty Conti being a credible contender for the TBS title. But Jay Cargill ended up running through her as well. So Cargill's question of who's next is quite a valid one. Who is next? Who else is left? She's what, 30 and 0 now? 30-0. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who her next challenger ends up being. Any thoughts or ideas?
I don't know really, because she's obviously a heel, so you're going to need somebody ideally who's a face, but there don't seem that many top face women around really. Well, I mean, Chris Statlander would have been in the conversation, but of course she lost, you see. So she's kind of down the ranking. So, I don't really know really, because, to me, like you, I agree, Ty Conti would have been a nice champion there. But obviously they're wanting to keep Jade going for a bit longer. But it'll be interesting to see, because they've not really sort of, they've not kind of mentioned anyone or really teased anyone really. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what they do on that really. But I don't know. I don't know what you think, but how long do you think the streak's going to go on? Do you think they'll do 50-0, or do you think they'll go even more crazy and try and do 100? What do you think?
As long as they don't end up doing a Goldberg, like 100 and something, and I know that's just ridiculous. There's only so many female wrestlers in the company for a start. They can't keep it going forever.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Is that I've got a feeling they might try and do 50. I can't see him going over that, because, like you say, I just don't think they'll run out of people really. So, so maybe 50-0 really. Maybe that's what they're aiming for, because then that could probably lead in maybe to the next pay-per-view maybe, and then someone can come along. But like you say, I'm not for women faces for women. I can't really think, unless Shida kind of comes back. But would Shida want this title? I don't know. So
good question. Yeah, good point. Hadn't thought of her.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was Jade. I've always given my comments on Jade. So the next one was a match, and back on the women, still on the women now. Legit Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa. And this is kind of a title eliminator, this one. So first thing I thought is, I kind of expected Thunder Rosa to win. I couldn't see her losing this match. But, I quite like Legit Layla Hirsch. I think she's making a name for herself. And I said before, I think she looks a bit different. So I quite like this match, even though I kind of knew what the result was going to be really. The only thing that I was thinking about when I watching this match is that Layla Hirsch went up and tried to do some sort of moonsault, and she's meant to be like some 4 foot something mat wrestler. That doesn't really make sense as well. So I just think you should do things that make sense really. So if someone's a mat wrestler, and quite a good mat wrestler really, I don't really know why you'd want them to do like some top rope moonsault or something. Doesn't make sense. They seem to do that a bit, where I feel like, because they're in AEW, they feel like they've got to do some weird high flying move that you don't need to do. So I just thought that came across as a bit silly, really. But other than that, yeah, I didn't mind it. But like you say, like I said before, I kind of knew what the result was going to be anyway. But so we've got Thunder Rosa now fighting Britt Baker, and if I just a quick comment on that, I'd be very, very surprised if she doesn't beat Britt Baker now, because I was expecting it at the pay-per-view, and I think Britt Baker's run out of steam. I think we need someone else in, and I think this is going to be a title change, I think. But that's my thoughts, Russell.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Thunder Rosa is once again the number one contender. What I don't get is why they didn't just give her the belt on the pay-per-view. Pretty much like you just said. But it is what it is. I'm warming to Layla Hirsch, as I said last time. You know, before this, I didn't actually think that much of her, but she's definitely growing on me. She's a decent little wrestler. But yeah, so we've got a cage match next week in Thunder Rosa's hometown. Yeah, I can't see her losing that. I think she's gonna become the champion in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. I can't see any of the result really. I can't really see Britt Baker winning it because it wouldn't really make sense. I mean, this feud's been going on forever, really. So I think that will be after this match, there was the Britt Baker interview about the steel cage. So I just kind of thought, well, I'm kind of looking forward to that because I didn't really think that the pay-per-view match really stood out, to be honest. I just thought it was mediocre at best. So I think the steel cage might be good though. And obviously it gives, Thunder Rosa or gives Britt Baker a sort of a kind of a little bit of an out because she won't have anyone helping her. So I can't see any other result really than Thunder Rosa winning the title really. But you never know. But so I think the interview that I didn't really. There's nothing else I picked up from Britt Baker's interview about the steel cage other than the fact that I'm looking forward to it. But it's one of these feuds now where if Thunder Rosa wins, I think it's time to sort of move on to something different because it's been a good feud, but I think it's kind of run out of steam a bit. And the pay-per-view match for me wasn't really anything special. So I think we need to sort of try and bring other people in now. But when you look at the women's roster, apart from really Serena Deeb, which I like a lot, and obviously Ty Conti's just lost, I don't really see many like super big names coming up really. So I don't really know where they're going to go with the women's division, if I'm honest. So that's what my thoughts there.
No, I agree. Just wanted to quickly touch on the Britt Baker interview. Nothing to say really, except that she remains confident, sounded confident, but I still don't see her retaining the belt in the match next week. But yeah, credible challenges. Yeah, I don't know really. Yeah, Serena Deeb. Having said that, I was just watching a bit of Rampage and with Serena Deeb's 5-minute challenge, and it was Rampage, not this Friday just gone, but the one before was the one that I was watching, and they had Hikaru Ishida run out to make the save. So a continuation of that feud. I'm like, no, let's move past that. We're beyond that now, surely. So I want to see them do something different with the women.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting because I think in the early days of AEW, I think the women's division was a disaster, car crash. I think it kind of started to improve, but now I don't think there's nothing really bubbling really. Like you say, Shida against Deeb, we've seen that. We've done Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker now as well. Seen that they've just they've just buried Ty Conti really. So I can't see her sort of stepping up. So I'm not really sure where they're going to go unless they're going to bring someone new in. I suppose Ruby Riot's knocking around. Maybe she could be a potential challenger, possibly. That might be the name there. But really, it's kind of still a little bit underwhelming for me, really, women's division. But so anyway, so that was that one, and then we had the main event. This was Sammy Guevara against Scorpio Sky for the TNT title, or I think they might be still calling it the unified title. I'm not sure, but don't understand that. But yeah, this was okay. I'm not a big fan of Scorpio Sky, really, if I'm honest. It's not he's not doing it for me. I don't really think he's that charismatic. I don't think he's that interesting either. And especially when he's been with Dan Lambert, I think he's been kind of a little bit of a comedy kind of character, really. I don't think he's credible. And I don't really understand why they're pushing him other than the fact that he's like an AEW original. I don't really understand it. I don't think he doesn't generate any heat. I don't think. This match didn't seem to be at the beginning super exciting. The crowd didn't really, for a main event, don't think the crowd were into it much. I don't think. So I'm not a big fan really, and I don't really understand why he got a title shot because I mean I suppose it's only like a TV title, but I mean they say he's been undefeated for a year, but I don't think he's wrestled more than half a dozen times. So I don't really see it. So, but I like the fact that Ty Conti came out. So obviously Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara are an item. So I like that. I thought, well, that's kind of real. I like to see that. You know, if they're in real life, then you know, get them together in the promotion. I like that. Um, the one thing that really kind of spooked me about this match, though, obviously Sammy got attacked outside, but I don't understand why Sammy Guevara didn't get counted out. It was out, it was down like literally all through the ad break, which was more than 5 minutes. It felt like more than 5 minutes to me. So that didn't make sense. And this is a thing where, you know, if you're going to do these beat downs and stuff, you've got to have some, you've got to make, they've got to make sense. And to me, Sammy Guevara should have been counted out and he should have kept the title. If he's down outside the ring for 5 minutes on the floor, you know, so that I didn't like that really. You know, you've got to make these things look a bit more believable, really, somehow. So I didn't like that really. The match was okay. I mean, Scorpio Sky is not the worst guy in the world at wrestling, but I just find him very uninteresting. I just don't think he's got anything to offer at all. You know, maybe he's got some hidden depths, but I don't really know. I haven't seen it, but so I hated this result. I hated it, even though I'm hopefully it'll just be a transitional champion. I didn't like it at all. You know, and they're all going about, oh yes, Scorpio Sky's the only guy to hold the tag title and the TV title. Well, that's to me is not something you want to sing about because I just don't think he's got any talent at all. So, whereas you look at the other guy who's with him, Ethan Page, to me he's very charismatic. I think he could be a star, but Scorpio Sky, forget about it. I think it's just you know, this guy is just he's not ratings at all. He's not going to move the needle one bit. If he's going to move the needle, but it's going to be in the wrong way, I think. So I didn't like it much. The only thing I did like about this match, really, apart from I do like Sammy. He's very, you know, I'm a big fan of Sammy Guevara, and I like to see Ty Conti. But I really like the fact that Paige Van Zant came down because as you know, I'm a big fan of Paige Van Zant. So, and attacking Ty Conti. So that's going to be obviously probably the first big match for Paige Van Zant against, and that to me will be a dream match for me. You know, both of them very, you know, kind of MMA people a bit. Both of them sort of mixed martial arts. I think it's going to be amazing that. So to be honest, this women's division isn't like lighting things up for me. So I'd be giving Ty Conti the you know the push you know to the top really because I don't think there's many people who've got that kind of charisma and have got that kind of background. So I'm looking forward to that. But with regards to the TV title, I just didn't like it at all. I thought this was a very, very bad decision. If you're going to give someone the title, even if it's just for a week, because I'm hoping Wardlow will win, but you know, I wouldn't have given it to Scorpio Sky. I'd have given it to someone else really, who's a bit more got something more about him. So that's what I thought, Russell.
Yeah, I agree with most, if not all, of the points you made there. I'm not a huge Scorpio Sky fan either, and I don't think that he was the right choice as successor to Sammy Guevara by any stretch of the imagination. As you say, he's just got no charisma or any discernible redeeming qualities about him, really. Yeah, he's a decent wrestler, but that's it, you know. As you say, the crowd weren't really into the match. I can only imagine that they are intending to make Scorpio Sky a transitional champion at this stage, and we'll see Wardlow win the belt sooner rather than later. We can hope, because he'd be a better champion than Scorpio Sky. So those are my thoughts. I'm wondering how badly injured Sammy Guevara actually is. Is that storyline, or do you think that's legit?
Not sure. I haven't heard anything, but then again, I haven't really looked. But I mean, he has had some really crazy matches in the last little while, so it's quite possible he could have some actual legit injury, maybe. But I just think that Scorpio Sky wasn't the right man, really. I mean, I understand Dan Lambert's doing his talking for him, which is going to help a little bit, because I don't think Scorpio Sky is really good on the mic either. But I mean, there's so many other people who you could have given the rub to, who were younger, who could have had, who would have meant something to. Whereas I think they just did it, really. I think they did it just to say, oh, Scorpio Sky is the only guy to win two different titles. But I don't really think that's a good thing, if I'm honest. So
no. The other thing I wanted to say was I wasn't aware that Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara were dating. So her appearance at ringside came as a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't know anything about that. But yeah, as you say, nice to see them see art imitating life, and them getting together on screen. Yeah, I put Paige Van Zant is all elite! ! Like I said previously, I don't actually know that much about her, other than what you told me about her background in MMA. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with her. I've never seen her compete, so I don't know what she's like. But
yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, she's basically kind of an MMA person who's coming to wrestling, so she'll be very much that way inclined. Obviously, she'll have obviously some wrestling background, because obviously that's part of the MMA thing, but she'll be very much MMA like leaning, really, which I think having a match with Tay Conti will be quite good, actually, because they are similar, aren't they, really, in that way. I mean, Tay Conti's got the jiu-jitsu and the black belts and all that. So I think that'll be all right. But yeah, for the women's division, I think they're at a crossroads now, where I think they're going to have to do something to kind of reinvigorate it. I think, because I think Britt Baker ran out of steam. Jade's not really, blowing anyone away either, I think, so it's fair to say. So I think it's time now. I mean, I don't understand why they've not brought in someone like Tessa Blanchard, really, who's still a free agent. I don't understand that. I mean, I understand that, there's been some Twitter controversies and stuff and whatever, but everyone does that at some stage. To me, if there's a talent like that out there who could literally transform your division, I don't know why he's not. And also, Tully Blanchard is presumably still in AEW, even though he's not going to be managing anymore. So to me, I don't understand why they've not reached out to Tessa Blanchard. And there's probably a few other women knocking around that could really, inject something as well. But we'll have to see.
What's the controversy all about then? I'm not aware of anything.
Yeah, apparently she's meant to have said something at some stage to someone, what everything's like. She denies saying it, but it's the cancel culture thing. You say something and somebody says you said something and you deny saying it, and all of a sudden then nobody wants to employ you. So, I don't know what the truth is behind it or whatever, but it won't be the first person to say something on social media or to say to somebody that's, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I'm thinking from a wrestling standpoint that this was the hottest woman in wrestling going back 6 months or so. She was the world champion Impact, not women's champion, the world champion. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever been done before. And so I just think that, and I, to be honest, this is what I don't understand. If somebody's got heat with certain fans, not all fans, but certain fans don't like her for whatever reason, then to me, that's a good thing as a heel. Why is that a problem? If fans really hate her, well, so that can be a good thing if you use it right, so I don't get it, me. But there's a few people like that have fallen foul to this kind of thing, So, well, but that would be what I would do. Look at somebody like, she's probably the biggest free agent out there now, sort of woman wise, unless you want to try and take someone out of Impact who's I don't know, maybe out of contract soon or whatever. But yeah, I don't know where to go otherwise, because really it seems imbalanced to me. The federation seems like there's too many heels on the women's side. There's not a lot of face women that are actually any good. So I really, that's why I think, I feel like and I don't think she does really, she's all right, but I don't look at Shida as a super huge big star either, really.
No.
And Japanese women either. You see, Japanese women, to me, majority of them didn't get over. Shida's probably the one few that did. Rio was good as a kind of a bit of a gimmick thing, like she was so small, but you can't keep that going for long, I don't think. So I think the Japanese thing was a bit of a fail, really. I don't think there was much there that really, there's no one really left now, really, apart from Emi Sakura comes in now and again, but really, I don't think anyone's really that interested. So I don't know what you think. What's your general opinion on the women's division then, Russell?
They definitely need to do something to kind of spice it up a bit and generate a bit more interest, or just, as we touched on earlier, just something different, something new. Like we were saying a few minutes ago, we've had Shida versus Serena, we've had Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, we've had a number of feuds which are ending up being rehashed over and over again. And it's time to do something new and innovative and creative. I'm not sure what that something is, or who that somebody that they decide to push should be, but just something to inject some life into it. At the moment, it's all kind of stagnant.
Yeah, I think so. I think Serena Deeb's interesting, personally, but like there just doesn't seem like there's not very, like you said, there's just not many faces to challenge all these heels, and having a heel against a heel match doesn't really, ignite the crowd that much. So, I'd be looking to bring someone sort of semi big in, really. Maybe try and do an NWA, bring the NWA champion in or something, maybe. I don't know, but something where I just feel like they've hit that point now again where we've just hit a wall again, I think, because I don't really think I don't think they've actually they've obviously put a lot more effort than they did into the women's, but I don't really think there's been a lot of long-term booking thought gone on, really.
No. I'm not sure what the answer is. Don't know.
Well, I mean, for example, there was quite a lot of releases from WWE, quite good talent as well, some of them, and not a lot of them were picked up really. Like for example, I would have brought Chelsea Green in first personally. I think she's quite a big star. Impact got quite a lot of the women from ex WWE, so there was certainly a few knocking around, but so yeah, I don't know. And then obviously now you've got Ring of Honor kind of going down the pan. So I don't think it's the fact that there's no one there. I just don't think their eyes on the ball on the women's division, really. I think it's kind of they're interested in other things, really, at the moment. So anyway, so that's that's the end of the review because we just had to finish that off from last time. But so so as a what did you think of the show overall, then, Russell, on the show?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was as strong as the previous week's episode. Yeah, I don't know. They're just parts of the show that felt a little flat for me and felt a bit odd, like the whole Hangman Page versus Dante Martin for the world title in the first match thing. I was like, okay, where did that come from? Yeah, it wasn't a bad show. It's just I still think that a lot of their booking is a bit random. Is that just me or?
No, I think you're right. I think there was, like I said, I mean, you've got a world title. Like, for example, you've got a world title match on the card and a TNT title. You should have flipped them around, really.
Yeah.
The world title should have been, even though it wasn't like a mega match, that should have been your main event, really, I think. But I think a lot of these matches were just kind of trying to build people up, really. So obviously, we've just done a pay-per-view. So I think there was a lot of that kind of just trying to sort of build people up and get people over and stuff. But so I don't think it was a bad show, but I suppose I didn't like the main event, so that to me was a letdown. If you'd have put the Adam Page Dante Martin in the main event, it would have probably been a little bit better for me. But that I didn't understand that at all. So but yeah, it was okay for me. But I think you kind of expect that after a pay-per-view, you expect a bit of a lull, don't you? Really, the go home show was going to be a big show, wasn't it? I suppose.
True. Yeah.
So I think that's it then, Russell, for this week. We'll have another episode for the next Dynamite. But any last thoughts or anything before we go, Russell?
Not that I can think of. I was just trying to remember what we've got on next week's show. I think we've got Scorpio Sky defending the TNT title against Wardlow, haven't we?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that more than this one because hopefully Wardlow will win. Every time Scorpio Sky wins, I'm going to be disappointed and not enjoying it. So.
Yeah, and Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker in the cage. I'm sure they must have announced a couple of other matches, but I can't remember what they were. So
no, I mean, I think I would expect the cage match to be the main event, really. I mean, you can't imagine anything else being the main event, really. So that should be a good match. I mean, that should be a very good match. But yeah, I think we just sort of, we've had a few turns, haven't we? We've had Jericho turn and Matt Hardy turn as well. So I think we can kind of go more into that as well. But yeah, so I'm hoping Wardlow wins, but I'm just wondering if they'll kind of draw that out a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm just wondering if they'll do that.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I mean. I don't know. It's a weird one because I don't see why they would put the title on Scorpio Sky just for 1 week. But stranger things have happened. Going off on a tangent here, I was watching SmackDown yesterday, and the whole Ricochet versus Sami Zayn feud they've got going on for the Intercontinental title at the moment. I thought they're going to do kind of a hot potato thing where Ricochet wins it 1 week, only for Sami Zayn to win it back the next week. No, as of right now, Ricochet's still the champion, which was a bit of a surprise. So, maybe they'll do something similar next week on Dynamite. I don't know.
I kind of think there'll be some sort of interference, and it'll be a kind of a DQ or something. I think Wardlow win, but probably by DQ. That's what I think might happen, and then there might end up being another match after. So I don't know, but because obviously you've got the MGF Wardlow thing coming up, haven't you, soon? So potentially even MGF could cost Wardlow the title as well. That could happen. But then I'd be thinking, oh my god, then we're going to have a Scorpio Sky run then, and I just think that's going to be very underwhelming.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. There's a few ways they could go with it. Um, so yeah, should be an interesting show.
Mm. Right then, so we'll sign off for tonight then. So that was our part two of our review for the 9th of March for AEW Dynamite. So we'll see you next time. So goodbye from me, and let you say goodbye if you want, Russell.
All right, have a good week.